Hey, how's it going? Solo back here with another weekend update video. Today is Sunday. In a few hours, the futures market will open, so we'll kind of have a good idea, or have a somewhat good idea of what maybe the market is going to look like this coming Monday. But really, I've noticed that it really doesn't matter if the market is red or green after hours. It really matters what's happening pre-market, like around 8:30, 9 a.m. right before the market opens. So I just take a peek at the after hours tradings, just mainly out of curiosity, but I personally don't put a lot of weight in it. Just as a quick reminder, here's the heat map from how we closed Friday. So had a decent amount of red on the board. A lot of big tech was affected. The semis were hit hard, except for, of course, AMD, which was up 16.5%. Micron was down 5%. So, you know, if you have cash on hand, or if I have some free collateral that I don't have any better use for, and if Micron opens up red again, it might be a decent day for me to open up some puts, or some cash secured puts, I should say, on Micron if it's been hit hard. I mean, Intel would be a perfect play if you believe that Intel can recover. I mean, personally, I think they got dealt a really bad hand and they got hit hard, primarily because AMD's been, in my opinion, just crushing them. So I don't foresee a short-term recovery for Intel. You know, if you're a buy and hold trader and you're thinking about holding Intel long-term because you think that they're going to recover and go back to their previous glory, then you could pick up Intel on basically on sale or at a cheap price. It was down 16% yesterday, or I should say last trading day. So depending on your feelings for Intel, you may want to stay away from it, or you may want to pick it up on the cheap if you're bullish on that stock long term. But that's ultimately for you to decide. But let's just think about what my plays are for this week. It's going to be an interesting week, actually, because if we look at the earnings coming up this week, it's a big week. And this is actually a snapshot of my Discord server that's up and running. Like I said, we have over 100 people in there right now. And I have a channel that automatically scrapes the Earnings Whispers tweets instantaneously. So the moment Earnings Whispers tweets out the week's earnings or any sort of kind of technical analysis such as this, it will populate on the Discord channel. So you never have to leave the channel or switch over to your Twitter page to see the latest news. But for example, on the 24th, Earnings Whisper sent this tweet out, which shows some anticipated earnings releases that are going to happen before the market opens Monday. And I will admit, I'm not familiar with, I don't think any of these companies, well, Hasbro, but the other companies I'm not too familiar with. SAP I've heard of, but I will admit I don't exactly know what they do. Avery Dennison, I believe, makes office supplies like manila folders and paper, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, the reason I say that is because I'm personally not interested in selling options on any of these companies. Not to say that they're bad companies, it's just that I don't know much about them and I'm just not interested in them. But you can see some of these tweets by Earnings Whisper show some basic TA that they've done. So you can see that they think DSX has been trading in this channel here. There's some wedge formations in some of these. You know, there's another channel here for ABCB. But it's just interesting. I take a look at this. I don't necessarily put a lot of weight in it because, again, no technical analysis is 100% accurate. Nobody can predict the future. But this is what I find most helpful. And this is when Earnings Whispers tweets out the upcoming companies that are having earnings for the upcoming week and what days and whether they're before or after hours. So a lot of big earnings this week, right? So AMD, as I've mentioned numerous times, is Tuesday after close, but also McDonald's, Pfizer, 3M, Raytheon has been a semi-popular stock that people have been trading options on. eBay, Visa, Harley Davidson's kind of been beaten down lately, but other big companies, GM, Spotify, GE, Boeing, Shopify, Facebook, PayPal. I mean, this is a big week, right? Just for big tech, but I think also for the market in general. UPS, Amazon, Apple. So a lot of different sectors, a lot of big companies. And then to kind of add fuel to the fire, I believe early this week, the Fed is going to have their FOMC meeting again. And I believe it's happening on Tuesday. which is the day of AMD earnings. And I think that happened last time too on AMD's previous earnings that just happened. So, a lot of uncertainty this week, I think, not just because of earnings, whether stocks are going to go up and down, but for example, if that Fed meeting doesn't go well, maybe the market overall will go down, or maybe it will overall go up. So a lot of uncertainty, that may be good for us in Theta Gang because uncertainty usually equals volatility. So if there's a lot of uncertainty or a lot of volatility, that means options premiums are going to be higher than normal. So for us, basically, that are selling options and essentially selling premium, then premiums might be juicy this week. We'll have to wait and see what it looks like market open. But I am really looking into opening up some cash secured puts on AMD. I think, if premiums are going to be juicy on AMD just in general, because it's one day or roughly 2 trading days before their earnings report, and if premiums are going to be juicy because of the Fed meeting and just an overall uncertainty for this week in the market, then I might load up on AMD cash secured puts and just use Theta Decay to my advantage. But if I'm really worried, I'll just sell very far out of the money cash secured puts. So if you've seen my previous video, and we take again a look at the option chain on AMD in terms of selling puts, if AMD premiums are similar to where we closed Friday, you could get a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, if you wanted to play it super safe, and I don't want to say this is free money because there's no such thing as free money in the stock market, but this 55 strike put on AMD, I mean, you would get, if we open Monday and it's still around $22 of premium for this put, $22 divided by 5,500 in collateral, right? Because it's a 55 strike put. That would net you exactly 0.4% return on your risk. And I've done this many times before, but if you could consistently get 0.4% return on risk every week for the whole year times 52 weeks, that would leave you with about a 21% return on your risk for the whole year. And that far beats out any checkings account, any savings account, and the historical average over the S&P 500 for the past 90 years is about 9.6 or 9.8%. So you would be doubling the average return of the SPY basically, if you can consistently figure out a way to get 0.4% return on risk every week for a whole year. And so, I've said it in my previous videos, and really with AMD and really with any stock, in order to get, if you ever do the calculations for the strike that's about a 0.4% return on your risk, the chance of profit is always between, let's say, 80 to 85%. Right now, because the premiums on AMD are so juicy, you can get a 0.4% return on your risk with basically almost a 94% chance of profit. So I'm really liking where AMD's premiums are right now. I hope Monday they stay where they are now or go up. I know on Friday, compared to Thursday, the premiums went down a little bit because the at the money puts were crazy. They were in the $500 range. Right now they're down to $365 between Thursday to Friday. So hopefully they won't go down anymore, and hopefully they'll go up. But we'll have to wait and see. But even right now, I mean, this premium is incredibly juicy right now. It's $365 divided by $6,900 in collateral because it's a 69 strike. But that premium is 5.3%. I mean, you don't get premiums like this unless it's like a hype stock or some sort of meme stock, right? I mean, not saying that space right now is a hype or meme stock, but I would say space is a less well-established company than AMD is. And if we take a look at the at-the-money return on risk for space, it's, let's just do $171 divided by 2,400 in collateral. You can see the at-the-money premium on space, or the return on risk, is 7.1%. So AMD is not that far off, and in my opinion, AMD is a much more well-established company than space is. So we'll have to wait and see how pre-market looks. I'm very, it's going to be an interesting week. I think there's going to be a lot of action, whether green or red, or maybe we'll just have a kangaroo market where it's up and down day to day. But I think there will be a lot of movement this week. I don't think it's going to be a flat week. I think whether you like it or not, it's going to be an exciting week to watch, because I think there's going to be a lot of movement, whether up or down. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens, but we'll see how I feel in terms of what the numbers are looking like pre-market, to see if I do open up cash secured puts on AMD, to see what strikes I want to play. Do I want to play it super safe and open up 55 strike puts? Do I want to play it very aggressively and try and take advantage of these juicy premiums and sell like a 65 put? Because I think maybe even if AMD drops, it won't drop by roughly $5. Or do I think AMD is going to go up after earnings? We'll have to see. Or you could do a little bit of, if you have enough collateral, you could do a little bit of each and sell like a 65 strike put, a 60 strike put, and maybe a 55. So that way, hopefully all three of your options you won't get assigned on. Or if you get assigned on, let's say the 65 and the 60, well, you've kind of averaged your cost basis down between those two strikes. So a lot of different ways to play AMD. And if you haven't seen my video from yesterday, you could also think about selling a call spread on the upside and turning it into a Jade Lizard and try and capture a little bit of extra premium that way. So it's really all up to you. I mean, that's why I really like options trading and find it interesting, because there's so many different plays that you can make and so many different strategies that it all just depends on how risky you want to be, because obviously the more risk you take, the more reward you're going to have. And it's up to you individually to decide what your kind of risk profile is. Are you chasing the big hitters, or do you just want to get small, consistent, repeatable profits, right? That's not a decision that I can make for you. That's something that you have to decide on your own. But that's what I'm looking at this week. I mean, let's just take a look at the TradingView charts here. So if we go to charts, so let's just take a look at the TradingView charts. Here's AMD again. I'll zoom it out a little bit, but clearly we broke out of this channel that I drew a few days ago. I mean, we are sky high right now, right? Like I have to zoom out. I'm gonna have to look at, that's crazy. It was off the screen, right? It was crazy. But, here's the 100% Fibonacci level. I wonder if I need to draw another Fibonacci level because of this huge move up. That would be looking something like, let's see, if I do a Fib retracement, maybe from this low all the way up to where we are now, maybe, we'll have to see what that looks like. But if that's the case, and we're at roughly $70, then the 23.6% retracement will be about 65, a little less than 65. The 38.2% retracement will be a little less than 62. So maybe, if I sell some puts at, let's say, 61 strike, that would be right about here. So that means that if AMD would have to blow past two Fibonacci levels to get to 61. So maybe that's secure enough. I don't know. But if you believe in Fib retracements, if I sell that put at 55, it would have to blow through 1, 2, 3, 4 Fibonacci retracements. And I don't think that's doable in the matter of a week. I think that would be insanity. But if you look at AMD, every time it's kind of gapped up hard, it always comes back after a while. So I do think we're going to have a pullback in AMD, but the real question is when and how quickly is that going to happen? But let's take a look at Micron here. Micron dropped significantly as well. And, funnily enough, it's basically straddling this Fibonacci retracement right here, which is actually the 61.8% Fibonacci level. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll bounce back up off that 61.8% Fibonacci level on Monday, or maybe we'll blow through it and trade a little bit lower. But again, I'm no technical analysis expert. This might look like some sort of, support line. Maybe it's forming some sort of wedge, right? If we draw some TA lines like so. And wedges usually represent an impending big move in the stock. But that could mean that the stock is going to go up but it could also blow down. So you don't know which direction the stock is going to make a big move. But we'll have to see, because it looks like it's, if you believe my TA here, it looks like this is a support level. So we'll have to see if Micron wants to bounce off it, because if you believe in technical analysis, if Micron now blows below this trend line here, then that could mean that we're going to be long-term bullish, or I'm sorry, then that could mean that we're going to be long-term bearish, or I should say maybe short to mid-term bearish. But we'll have to wait and see. So let me know what your possible plays are this week, what stocks and tickers you're looking at. Make sure you get in that Discord server while it's free for now. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And happy trading.